loading. Here we go.
All right. Okay, guys, we're going to go ahead and get started. Today, we are talking about Genially. My name is LaShaka Wesley Hosier. I am the one-to-one instructional coach at South Garland High School. And my partner, as always, is Gina. Gina, would you like to say hello?
Yes, good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Today, we are talking about Genially. I hope you love it as much as I do. I like to think of Genially kind of like a souped up Prezi. So what was that, about 10 years ago, maybe more, closer to 15? Prezi came on the scene as a presentation tool. Another way to look at Genially is to think about if you have a picture, like let's say the graphic on the screen, and I want to click on LaShaka. What I can do is it makes any image or word on your screen a link to link out to something, and then you can make it come back to your image. So it's a nice way to do like a slides presentation, but really get those links in there with video and audio and make it a lot more interactive. Another thing that we really like about Genially is their use of graphics. They have a bunch of great graphics that are free for you to use. And they have some great templates, so it's not like you have to recreate the wheel. And so today we are going to be talking to you about the free version of Genially. So we hope you get as excited about this interactive presentation tool as we are.
Excellent description, Gina. As always, we are running our webinar back channel. So if you have a question that you think of after the webinar or even during, you can go to the bit.ly on the bottom of the screen, add your question and your email address. Gina and I will answer the question, and then you'll receive an email from one of us automatically. Today, the skills that we're looking at are how to sign up for Genially, the templates, the kinds of templates that they have, what action keys are, what you can do within a Genially, the new feature of adding video and audio, and then we're going to look at a basic one so we can set it up. So we are going to head over to Genially. Okay, so I've logged into Genially here. Genially does have the one-click function with Google. So when you go to Genially for the very first time, you are going to click Create Account with Google, type in your GISD credentials, and then from that point forward, anytime that you're signed in to Chrome with your GISD credentials, you can automatically be signed into Genially. So you can see my Bitmoji here matches my Bitmoji on Google. So this is the Genially dashboard. These are all of the Geniallys that I've ever created. If you've never created one, the only thing that you'll see is this Create Genially button. Over on the left-hand side, you've got the option to create one, your creations, branding, which is specifically a premium feature, and then the inspiration board, which is other people's creations that you can go and look at to get inspiration. And some of those people even include buttons that allow you to use their Genially as a template. So Gina and I have created a breakout session that we taught or did with our other one-to-one coaches at a training. So I'm going to show you a preview of that first so you can kind of see what Genially does, and then we'll talk about creating one. So if you click on the breakout that Gina and I did, this is what pops up. So already you can see it's got that motion with the plane flying. Every button here is clickable. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click on Introduction so we know what is expected of us. So we were doing a book study about coaching, and our chapter was The Lazy Question. So we have a quote from the book, and then we can look at our mission. So use the information presented in the following slides to answer the questions and crack the code. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to hit Start. And now you can see I've got this map And we've made it really easy. You can kind of see exactly what you can click on with the red X's. And then there's a safe down here in the bottom. So no matter where a student starts or another teacher, if you're doing a professional development, they can click on one. And again, these graphics were all stock. Gina and I we changed the words and the questions, but we didn't pick any of these graphics. So the imagery in Genially is beautiful, and it makes it way more engaging for your students. So here are our questions. So after watching the video, and here's the link, to put this unit all together, what does lazy really mean? Okay, so I answered that question, and obviously I got it wrong. So the student, it'll take them back to start. They can click either there, but that's the end of the unit. So maybe they want to start somewhere else. If you wanted to make it a little clearer for your students to see where to start, you could number these instead of putting in X's. So we'll go up here, helping versus helping. So you can see the questions here. I got that one right. Now we move on to question 2. Oftentimes, to step in and over. And then question 3. Okay, so now it says, congratulations, the first number is 2. And since this is a breakout, you need the code to actually crack the case, so to speak. So then you would come in and you would put in the code. Now I put in 2, but I don't know any of the other numbers. So I'm gonna just put in random stuff and then hit okay. And it just says incorrect. If I had the correct numbers, it would open and say, congratulations, you've done all of the things. So this is just an intro or kind of a preview of what you can do with Genially. So let's go back and create one so we can see how to do this from start. Okay, so I'm going to click Create Genially. And now it brings up a bunch of templates for me to choose from. So Gina and I did the gamification for the breakout, but you can do anything that you want. The interactive image is really cool. You can make an image clickable in every way. So here's one of Usain Bolt, and it is going to have him with a bunch of numbers on it. And then I can click on the numbers and find out information. So as it loads, which you need to be patient with Genially because it's got so much going on. It does take a minute to load. So this image will clear up in a minute. Now up here, you can see this little hand. So if I click on the hand, it's going to put these bright pink circles around all of the parts of this image that are clickable. So if your students don't know where to start, that's the place to send them to so that they know, hey, I can click on all of these things. So if I click on this circle here, it tells me who that is and some information about him. And I can click on this circle and it's going to tell me who he is. Okay, this is obviously a video. I can click on Usain Bolt and get any of his information. So this would be a great way for primary sources for your students. If you want them to analyze an image, you can do this with the body in science. You could do this with a math problem that you've taken a picture of and explain the signs or order of operations. You can do this with anything in history, obviously, anything in history. And then if you wanted to do something similar in ELA, you could look at maybe an artist's drawing from the story, or you could look at where the story takes place and kind of map those points out. The possibilities are endless. Okay, so that's an interactive image. If you look on this left-hand side, I can see all of the different templates that I can choose from. So if I went to just gamification, it brings up a whole bunch of things, just similar to the interactive image. So you can search for creations. You can also look at just premium creations or free creations. Most people are going to have a basic account. So I normally filter mine by free. And then you can go in and see which ones don't cost anything. So here's one that looks like Trivial Pursuit. This one looks like Jumanji. Here's one about guessing the song. There are endless possibilities, and all of these are going to be interactive, and they're as interactive as you make them. So I'm going to go down to social, and I'm going to switch to free. So I don't have any premium templates. And then I'm going to go down to headers. And I am going to make a Twitter header and add some things to that. So you can see all the different things that pop up. I kind of like either the creative ideas or the star night, and they've got them for Twitter and Facebook. I really like this gradient spheres, but today I'm going to do this one, the star night Twitter. So once I've looked at it and I think, yeah, this is definitely the one I want to do. It's really pretty. I'm going to click use this template. That's going to take me to the screen where I can edit this template to make it my own. So it's loading, and we're going to look at all the different things that you can put in a template to truly make it fit your content. So this is the edit screen. Let's look at the tools down the left-hand side. I can add a text box. So by clicking on that, it gives me text that's already finished. So if I, didn't know what type of fonts to pair, or if I wanted something extra special, I can go in and click any of these, or you can just do a simple text box. So I'm going to do this one because I like that cursive a little better than the special nights cursive. Okay, so let's delete that whole thing. No, okay, we'll just, here, trash. Okay, so obviously I trashed the whole thing, and you're like, oh my gosh, what just happened? There's an undo button at the top. Everything is fine. Don't worry. Don't worry. All is well. All is well. No need to freak out. Okay, I can insert images. So it's got images that I can paste from a URL, images that I can look for within Genially, or I can drag and drop images from my computer. So if I click on computer, now it's going to bring up all of my downloads, and I can say, oh, I really want to put in this Bitmoji where I'm kind of popping out the center. Okay, so right now it's in black and white. Once it loads, it'll be in color. So let me move this down and delete. I want to make this go away. I'm waiting on my little person to load. Okay, so I'm going to put this here, and I'm going to change my name. And obviously I'll have to resize that because it is so large. Okay, so there it is, LaShaka Wesley Hosier. And I'm going to put that back up in the middle there, and we'll play around with the boxes later. In addition to images, I can also add resources, and these are all within Genially. So they've got different scenes. If you're teaching geography, they've got maps, silhouettes, and you can literally just go in and look for whatever you want. So I'm in the icon menu. Let me see if I can find a computer, since I want people to know that I do technology. So here are the icons. Here's a scene, and the scenes are going to have the people kind of moving around. So I'm going to put this one in because I like that one. So let me click. No, I don't want to open it. I just want to put it in. Okay. So it's loading. While it's loading, I'm going to show you active elements. So let's say if I wasn't doing a Twitter header, that I wanted to add my Twitter to my post. So maybe this is on a website that I've made, or maybe it's just on a document or a resume. I can add my Twitter bird here, and then, okay, it didn't upload my image. I can look and click this button with the little hand. It's going to give me some interactivity. So because I only have one page in my Genially, I can't go to another page, but I can make it open a new window. I can have it just be a little tooltip where a little box of text will pop up telling someone what to do, or I can have it create a link. So if I had my Twitter link, which I'm just going to put Twitter link here because I don't know what it is off the top of my head, but you understand what I'm doing. Okay, Twitter link. And then I want it to open in a new tab, and I'm going to hit save. Fine. HTTP : // twitter.com. Okay, so now if I see how this is turned purple, that tells me it's going to go to Twitter. Obviously, you'd want to make that your own Twitter, but you can put it there. Now, if I decide I want to move this, I wait for my crosshairs, and then I can kind of center this wherever I want. And you can see I can do the same thing with my text here. Okay, so there's icons. Smart blocks are going to be graphs, data, and table. So if you're doing maybe a poll in your class, or you've got an infographic that you want to create, or you're looking at math stats, you can add all of these, and they're beautiful and in color. You can insert, and this is new, audio and or video. So let's say I want, this is for my students, and I want this to be oral directions so that when they click on my name, they get the directions. So you would click on the microphone, you're going to hit allow, and now it's recording. So I can give them the directions. I want you guys to go to Google Classroom, click on the link, open the article, and answer the 4 questions on the Google form. I stop recording. Here's my audio. And then I drag this in and make it a clickable element. So, and that's a brand new feature, which is amazing. Or I can embed music if I've got some type of primary source. If I've got a lecture I want to embed, a small snippet of music, whatever, you can put that in. You can also do video. So if I wanted to put something in from my YouTube channel, or even from the Amoeba Sisters or Crash Course, I could put that in there. So it supports YouTube and Vimeo. And then you can also embed other content. So anything with an embed code you could put here and then insert directly. And then these are all the things that are supported. So look at all the things I can put in here. I can put in a tweet, anything from Facebook or Pinterest, Instagram, LinkedIn, Tumblr. I don't know what that one is, Google Maps, anything from the Google Suite, and then all this other stuff, again, that I don't know what it is, except Amazon. So now if I want to go in and change the background, if I think, oh, I like those stars, but I want to make it colorful in the background, I can change it to yellow, purple, pink. Oh, I kind of fit salmon color. They've got pictures that I can find. If you've got the premium one, you can insert your brand, and then you can also look at their library and look at the different canvas options that they have here, which they will pop up eventually. It just takes a minute, but they're there. And then if I wanted to add another page, I could. So if I think, oh, you know, I want to create another part of this, I would just click add page, and then it would give me more templates to add, although this is a 1-page template because it is a Twitter header. Okay, so that's all of the options on the left. Up at the top, once you click on a text box, you have all of the text options that you could think of. I can change the font, I can change the color, I can make it bold, I can underline it, I can center it, you can make it bulleted, I can change the size. Normally, if you just drag your box, it'll change the size. So here, I want to make my name 1 here instead of 2 lines. So I want it 1 line. So here, I'm going to put South Garland High School. Actually, I'll put 1-to-1 up here. So 1-to-1 in, oh, it's all in caps. Okay. Instructional coach, or Shaka Wesley Hosier. And then I'm going to put South Garland down here, SGHS. All right. And I'm going to try and center my name. I've got this up here. I'm going to pull it down a little bit. I'm going to put this up a little bit, and it is centered there. Here's my Twitter handle, which again is unnecessary because it's going to be a Twitter header. And then let's go look for an image again. And I'm going to show more over here, and I'm going to search for computer because I want people to know I've got tech. So then I'm going to drag this one over. Genial is moving a little slow today, but you get the picture. Okay, so now over here on the right hand side, I can add a collaborator. So it's going to be the same way that you add people to Google Docs. I'm going to type in Gigi King at garlandisd.net because I'm going to share this with Gina, and then I'm going to click invite. Now, once her name pops Okay, see how it says the invitation has been sent correctly? So Gina is there. So now if I go back, it should have Gina and I both listed because it says I'm currently a collaborator. Okay, and then if I want to see what does this look like, then I hit the preview button. It's going to ask me to name it. So I'm going to name it Twitter header 1 and then save. And then it brings up just a full scale image, slowly, of my work here that I can click on or do whatever I wanted to do. Okay, here it comes. Like I said, Genially does move a little slow, but remember, it's got to load everything that you've got in your image or your presentation. So if I do have audio in there, video, the link to Twitter, all of it. Okay, so here's my image. Here's my little hand. So it's going to show me that the Twitter icon is in fact clickable. So if I click on it, then it's going to open Twitter. Now this just takes me to my homepage for Twitter instead of my profile because that's what I asked it to do. But your students, you have the option to put in whatever you want. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the editor. Here is my Twitter header, which is very pretty. So on Twitter, let me show you guys where it would actually be. On Twitter, if I go to my profile, this image up here that is the tree with the sun, that pink kind of starry image that I just created would fit right here. And that's what people would see on my profile. So, you know, if I wanted to put a different picture for my profile picture and put something up there, maybe you want to do your school mascot, school colors, maybe you've got, you know, a business or whatever you want with a Twitter handle, you could put that up there. If you're running a school Twitter, you could put an image of the school there, an image of your drill team, your basketball team, your football team, whatever, so that people know kind of what's going on. Okay, so let's go back to the editor. And there's my beautiful Twitter header. So if I think, oh, you know, I really don't like this Twitter emblem here, I kind of want it center, whatever, I'm going to go back to edit. And I'm going to change. I've got two computers there now. My icons. So let's put the computer here. And maybe I want them to go to my website from here. So again, I would just click this interactivity and then I could put in another link. I can replace the image. Or if I want it to have some type of animation, I can click on this. So let's say if I was doing a presentation, I wanted this to pop up or move continuously. So let's make it move continuously. And I want it to, and if you hover over it, it'll show you what it's doing. I want it to pulse because I want people's attention to be drawn to that computer. Okay, so there it is. I'm going to click out. So now my computer is going to pulse when it's in view mode. The Twitter icon isn't going to do anything. And then let's add a phone as well. And I could add another animation. So I'm going to shrink this a little bit. Notice the phone there doesn't have a background. So if you wanted to put an image in there of them looking at something, you totally could. But I'm going to give this a different animation. And I want this to bounce back. And I want it to come from the up direction. All right, now when I go to preview, oh, and it's going to load faster this time. That's good news. My computers are there, but you would be able to see all of the stuff that it was doing, the pulsing, the bouncing, the continuous moving, whatever I did. You can hover your mouse. So when I hover my mouse over it, I can make it go from color to black and white, go from blur to normal, shrink, fade in, do a little rotation. Oh, all my errors came up for inserting my image. Okay, thank you. I can make it flicker. So if you want your students, aside from having the hand to click on things, if you want them to know like, oh, this is something I can make happen, you might want to do when they hover their mouse over it, that this is the movement they're going to get. So that's pretty much it. If you look at, let me exit this. If you go to your settings, Okay, I can look at my display and all of the display options. I'm going to turn drag on and paint on. And then my tooltips, I can have them either pop up in white or I can have them pop up in black. I'm going to do black because I like the dark. Here's my privacy. For the free account, it's always going to be public, and you're going to have a special URL that you can share. Now here where it says reusable, that's what I was talking about earlier in the inspiration. If I've created something that I want other people to be able to use, then I'm going to toggle this on. And now anybody else that wants to use this particular template for Twitter would be able to find it and then use it as a template. Okay, here's designer mode. So let's turn that on. Sorry, I toggled it off. And then I can also look at a list of shortcuts. So if you don't know shortcuts, this would be a good way for you to learn quickly what's going to happen in the program. Cut, copy, and paste and undo are always going to be the same for every program. So if you didn't know that, now you know it. Here's how to group and ungroup, which if you've got something in a group, it moves all together at once, as opposed to having to move individual elements. So yes, I want it to maintain proportions when I move it or make it bigger. That's it, guys. Genially allows you to get as creative as you want to. So I just did a Twitter header, which doesn't have a whole lot of interactivity because it's at the top of my Twitter. But if I wanted to go to my dashboard again, yes, I know it's not saving things because it's taking a while to save. If I go back to my dashboard and I look at the breakout that Gina and I did that I showed you earlier, or I did a presentation for my digital learning team at South that they could click through and find things, you could do that. I've had other teachers use this for kind of a choose your own adventure thing, a dive deeper. This allows you to get as creative or as little as you want, and you can go in and determine what happens when people click where. So if maybe you're putting together a unit review or an introduction to a unit, this would be a good thing to use. And like I said, they do have lots of templates that you can pull from for every content, including Kate, not just core. I've seen some theater things here, all kinds of awesome stuff. It looks like Genially is taking a minute, so I'm actually going to stop and then refresh and see if that makes it work. Sometimes it just needs a reminder of what's going on. There we go. Okay, so here's one on submarine life. Gina and I have done one for Level Up Academy. Here's 2 different Wicker Bingos that we did. Here's a presentation I did on Quizlet and Quizlet Live. You do whatever you want, and you can make it look as great as these do because all of these templates are beautiful. All right, does anybody have any questions? Anything we need to go over? Gina, is there anything I missed?
No, I think everything looks good. I know that a lot of people have been asking about the free account, and everything that Lashaka showed you today is the free account. You don't really need the premium, but there are some things like collaborating that you might want for the, I guess, the upgraded account. But all in all, I hope you enjoyed everything that Genially has to offer. And I will tell you that it is very engaging for students. They like the way it looks and they like the interaction. You know, you just show them how to reveal all of the active links on the page. So thanks for joining us.
Yep, and as always, if you have any questions about anything, not just Genially, but about anything else, you can email Gina and myself, ldwesley@garlandisd.net or ggking@garlandisd.net, and we will be happy to help. We hope you guys have a great day. Thank you.